So today our terms of our lectures, mitochondria. On the slides here you can see the structure of the mitochondria. It's location of the mitochondria to the cell. Introduction. What does it mean mitochondria? What main function is structure of these organelles? Mitochondria is a double membrane-bound organelles found in cytoplasm of eukaryotic cells. Mito translated trees, chondrian main granule lake. First observed by Richard Altman, 1894 years. Term mitochondria was coined by Carl Benda, 1898 years. They produce enzymes for the metabolic conversion of Richard Altman and Carl Benda. Origin of mitochondria. Mitochondria are derived from bacteria by a process termed as endosymbiosis. Mitochondria arose about 2 billion years ago when a bacterium fused with an archaeal cells or established a symbiotic relationship with a primitive eukaryotic cell. The closest extant relative of bacteria that gave rise to mitochondria are rickettsia. The first person to recognize mitochondria as descendants and of symbiotic bacteria was the endosymbiotic theory, including the main processes. First, processes unfolding in the plasma membrane of an ancestral prokaryote gave rise to endomembrane components, including a nucleus and endoplasmic reticulum. Second, processes. In the first endosymbiotic event, the ancestral eukaryote consumed aerobic bacteria that evolved into mitochondria. Third process, in a second endosymbiotic process. On the next slide, you can see the process location of the mitochondria into the cell or cytoplasms. And next slide, you can see the future of the location mitochondria to the animal cells and plant cells. The main structure of mitochondria. Structure of mitochondria including the next components. First component of outer membrane. Second component inner membrane space. Third component in inner membrane. Next crystal. Next components matrix. Mitochondria is a special organelles which produce ATP energy. ATP synthase particles of the mitochondria, including the main components. First, ATP synthase particles, they have blue colors. Next, inner membrane have brown colors. Outer membrane have red colors. Molecule of the DNA into the matrix, and matrix is spatial space of the mitochondria, which are coloring of the blue. Also, mitochondria includes the intermembrane space, and crista. Also, mitochondria includes ribosomes, and granules. On the next slide, you can see information about outer membrane. What does it mean, outer membrane of the mitochondria? Outer membrane is simple phospholipid layer. It encloses the mitochondria, contain large number of integral protein structures called porins, which allows molecules to freely diffuse from one side of the membrane to the other. Porins pass molecules less than 5,000 diameter. Ions, nutrition molecules, ATP, ADP, etc. can pass through the outer membrane with ease. The outer mitochondrial membrane is composed of about 50%. The next slides, you see of the future location of perimitochondrial space. It's space between inner membrane and outer membrane of the mitochondria. It has high proton concentration. The space between inner and outer membrane is approximately 17A because the outer membrane is freely permeable to small molecules. The concentration of small molecules such as ions and sugar in the intermembrane space is same as that of the cytosol. Proteins present participate in ATP synthesis. The next slide, we can see information about inner membrane of the mitochondria. Inner membrane is freely permeable only to oxygen, carboxygen, and water. The inner mitochondrial membrane contains proteins that performs redox reaction in oxidative phosphorylation, ATP synthesis, transport proteins, protein import machinery, mitochondrial fusion, and fission proteins. Several antipode systems exist allowing exchange and anions between cytosol and the mitochondria. Crista. It's main component of the mitochondria. Crista are folds of inner mitochondrial membrane which expands its surface area in change in its ability to produce ATP. Stalked particles or inner membrane spheres, crista, is covered with these inner membrane spheres called stalked particles or knobs or heads. The next components of the mitochondria is matrix. What does it mean, matrix? Matrix is space enclosed by inner membrane gel-like, consistent, dense, homogeneous, contains 2 or 3 RD of total protein of mitochondria. Matrix have enzymes, DNA genomes, ribosomes, tRNA, granules, fibrils, and tubules. The matrix is important in the production of ATP, with the aid of the ATP synthase contained in the inner membrane. The function of the matrix, major enzymes include enzymes involved in synthesis of nucleic acid and proteins. On the next slide, you can see information about inheritance of mitochondrial DNA or mtDNA. Mitochondrial DNA is inherited material in most animals, also human. Fathers only give genes to their children, but mothers give both gene and the cytoplasms through the egg cell. Since mitochondria are in the cytoplasms and reproduce themselves, they only are inherited from mothers. Hence, this pattern of the anti-DNA inheritance is well known as material inheritance. Genetics have used function. The function of mitochondria. The first and main function of the mitochondrion is aerobic respiration. Aerobic respiration uses complex molecules and oxygen to produce a high energy molecule known as ATP. Mitochondria are more abundant on the cells that contain a lot of energy, egg muscle. Extra mitochondrial inheritance, mtDNA, contains plasma genes. Mitochondrial disorders. Mutation in genes for mitochondrial proteins encoded by both mtDNA and nuclear DNA causes disorders such as strokes, cardiomyopathy, neuropathy, and hearing. So, thank you for attention.